Okay, so I will just jump right into it. I keep having to stop because I'm having some technical difficulties today. But one of the things so funny as I'm talking about technology and why I'm so excited about it, my storage keeps telling me it's full and that I have to delete things. So I just want to maybe I should preface this entire video with this statement. I think that we live in a world of duality and contrast, and we're going to solve problems, and I'm going to talk about some of these challenges that I think that we're going to solve, and some of the technology that I know of that I'm really excited about in terms of how we're going to meet those challenges, and why the future is so bright. But one of the things is that we're going to create problems. We're going to create problems, and then we're going to create solutions to those problems. And so understanding that that's just kind of like a part of it here. But I think that at the very least, we should be able to, in this Aquarian age, to um, fix our primitive problems. This is like this some of the things that we have going on right now. It's so exciting, actually, sad in some ways that it happened, but so exciting because there's so many opportunities to create change and healing and growth, and so many problems to solve, and so many ways to generate resources for yourself and others through that process of regreening the planet and revitalizing it and reversing climate change and reversing age. And um, really, I think that we could harness our technology and consciously and constructively utilize it to move into a golden age, a age of like infinite possibilities. We're going to be an interspace faring species, but we can also, and we will also need, I think, to have a beautiful earth. An earth that is clean and healthy and teeming with life, um, and in order for people to be able to handle the merge of this hyperconnectivity that's going to happen, I think that we need to be completely materially supported, and there needs to be more just abundance and fairness. And I think that we can create that through technology and meeting people's basic needs. Because if you think of Maslow's hierarchy of needs in the triangle, the base level is food, water, shelter, safety. I think that, it's so exciting. We're going to be able to desalinate water. Give me 1 second here. So I am excited about the desalinization of water and being able to distribute that to people anywhere. Um, Sometimes I get these crazy visions, um, and I just want to be open and generous with it. Like, I'm not, like, but so I think that one of the visions that I get is desalination water plants distributed around in regions that are by the ocean, and there being like a circulatory system, kind of like our blood, like that goes out through piping, that's above ground and monitored from satellites in space. And as the water moves through the turbine, there's like sensors and some sort of like energy collection system. And also, it's also integrated with a lot of solar panels, so the infrastructure is self sustaining. And it's made in a way that is eco friendly, so everywhere that it goes, it's unintrusive, um, and it doesn't harm the wildlife. and it distributes water as it builds electricity and gets it to different places that are that struggle with water. And I also think that there's so many ways that we're going to be able to deal with uh, wasting water. And one of those is going to be hydroponic vertical grow systems. So agriculture and farming is going to change so much. We're going to grow things in optimal buildings, and I think that we're going to 3D print those buildings, and I think that we're also going to um, redesign and do some remodeling on our current infrastructure that was once used to house like school and education. I think a lot of that's going to be moving into people's homes, and it's also going to be going into the virtual and augmented reality space. And so there's going to be real estate opportunities to move these indoor grow operations indoors. And I think that that's one way to re-envision some of this unused infrastructure that's all around. And that brings me to my next point. VR, augmented reality, mixed reality, um, is on the rise, and it's going to change how we process information, how we teach, how we learn. I think that there's probably going to be some company that takes it to directly to the schools and provides the infrastructure, and that's how students are going to be introduced to it, and that's how their parents are going to be introduced to it. I think that there's a great market opportunity for that, because I think that there are so many parents that are struggling to educate their kids and having to keep them home on lockdown. But I think that there's probably some leveraging going on here with what's going on in the world and this illness, but they're rolling out the 5G. They're rolling it out, and if you're not familiar with what that is, it's like, think of the internet, but just on steroids. Like, just the bandwidth is just going to be crazy. One of the concerns that I had heard, and I could be wrong about this, but like ultraviolet rays are on top of the skin, radio waves go through the skin, but the waves that this 5G works on can cause some problems with sweat glands, or there's some questions about that from what I've heard. So feel free to do your own research on that. But and like I said earlier, we're gonna create new problems, but we are going to be able to solve those problems, and I think move into an age of just absolute abundance, and we can just completely do away with scarcity. I think that we are going to be able to have drones deliver massive amounts of food to hard to reach regions, and it's going to be grown in these 3D printed vertical structures that use water really, really efficiently. And the plants are going to grow in this optimal environment that don't need pesticides, and that maybe don't need GMOs or things like that people are so concerned about, because they don't need to be insect resistant. And I think that there's also a place for integrated farming around that as well, because we do need to stay connected. As much as we have all this technology and 3D 3D printing and 3D worlds that we're going to be going exploring in, we still need to take care and optimize the physical apparatus that we showed up in. And I think that the diagnostics that these tools are going to give us is going to be great. And I think that I really, we need to position ourselves as a creative country to solving our world's most primitive problems. I think that we have an amazing abundance producing opportunity if we take it upon ourselves to solve the climate change crisis. Now, of course, we can't do it single-handedly. We've got to work cooperatively with other countries, but we can really contribute to the innovation and we're really going to kind of have to, because China is just with technology just jumping leaps and bounds, and we want to make sure that we're keeping up with the world in terms of our innovation ability. And I think that one of the ways to do that is to meet people's most basic fundamental needs with clean food, clean water, and also we're going to need to set up some sort of financial infrastructure before the automation happens, because we are just about and already maybe starting the fourth industrial revolution, and augmented manufacturing and 3D printing is going to be able to allow us to take like ideas and just into form. And I think that we're also going to be able to use our quantum technology to solve different problems. We're going to be able to take all of the trash that's in our landfills and we're going to be able to clean it up. And I think that we're going to be able to use machines to quickly reorganize it and sort through things and filter everything out, and then create filament for these 3D printing, so we can just have just rapid, massive, clean, beautiful, beautiful infrastructure that's pristine. And I get these visions of this new world that we're basically birthing. But we need to remember that birth can be painful and it can be messy, and so we want to be prepared. And I think that that is kind of a feminine approach to understanding some of this technology, is that you want to know what some of the things that are going to be happening are and what you can expect and how you can make the most of it and be as comfortable as we possibly can be. And I think that having systems even in our society and in our government that accelerate learning, provide lots of opportunities for learning and contribution, because I think that one of the concerns is that we're going to be moving into a completely socialistic society, government, socialist government. But I think that there's got to be some way to maintain the tenets of free market capitalism and the best qualities of that in terms of ambition and the drive to create and do, with getting people's basic needs met and everybody having like some sort of base or support. There's got to be some way of taking both of those concepts, taking the best out of them and making them work. I think that personally we need to, I saw a TED Talk on this and I can't remember who it was, but we need to have a more comprehensive rubric for how we're doing as a country besides GDP. That's great. I think that we definitely need to pay attention to the economics of things. I don't think that any of this stuff is free, but I think that there's an investment that's made, and then things are moving to be less monetized, less and less and less monetized. So, and things will become ever less expensive to make. And so we're going to undergo a completely different shift in our values around what we consider valuable and important. And I think that these are very exciting times, very scary times. I think that if we don't optimize, we're going to weaponize. And I don't want that to happen. I love this country. I love this planet, and I think that there's a way to do it too that's not inconvenient to people. Because if people have to go out of their way, it's hard. If you impose all these rules and all these steps for people to do, we got to find some way to making people's lives just easier. Because if people's lives are easier and their basic needs are met, then they can show up more creatively. Because when we're stressed out about our job and trying to keep it, and we have to do mundane work that we don't like and that's not fulfilling and that's not interesting, um, just to survive, that takes up a lot of energy. And I think that, yes, AI and robotics, they can represent a huge existential threat. But if we optimize the human experience, then we're going to integrate, because this transhumanistic thing is kind of happening, is already underway, and is only going to become more so. But in order to handle this merge, we we need to have people's basic needs met, because we're going to have a heightened sense of empathy, because we're going to have even augmented senses. We're going to have lenses in our eyes that augment what we're able to see and not see. We're going to have just extensive like cells added to our bodies. There's so much genetic engineering that's going on. And I really think it won't be that long. I mean, before somebody 3D prints some sort of like space station, and then we start taking our cells and then growing our organs in space. Like it's not going to be, I don't think it's going to be that long. And every single year, since the 1970s, Moore's law, our computing power is doubling. But what I heard from Peter Diamandis, one of my favorite thinkers and entrepreneurs, founder of X Prize. So if you've got inventive ideas for how to solve problems, check that out. Look at Singularity University. But basically, oh, I hate when I do that, and then I can't remember what I was talking about. We can just solve problems, and I think that we're going to be able to grow our organs in space. Oh, what I was talking about. Yes. So our computing power has been doubling since the 1970s, and that's between closed circuits. But what he was saying is that we're in the age of accelerating returns, because there's a convergence of all these different types of technology, and these different technologies are supporting and accelerating one another. And so yeah, we're gonna be super duper duper wow connected, and we already are. And I think that what's gonna ultimately happen with the evolution of our species is that many people just are not designed to think abstractly. They think in terms of what they can see, taste, touch, smell, hear. They're very grounded in a very linear, rooted reality. But time isn't linear, and truth is really stranger than fiction. And I think our technology is being able to give us a lens through which to see deeper into what is reality. And I personally ascribe to the multiple worlds theory, or the multiverse. So I think a lot of things are happening on multiple timelines of reality, and you can basically gather information from the ethers and use that. And I think that even that is going to change our patent laws. Like, the world is going to get so interesting and so exciting. But it's going to help people who are not designed to think abstractly, and it's going to give them a physical reference that they can relate to understanding these abstract and even spiritual concepts of our infinite unfathomable connectivity to one another, to all of life. So if there's like huge swaths of people that are just in major anxiety, major suffering, major sadness, and we are a part of that because we are all rays that emanate from the same sun, we're all waves of the same ocean, we're all connected. If there are people that don't have food and that are sad and struggling and suffering, um, that is going to affect us, because as a very empathic person and that takes in a lot of information, um, I can somewhat speak to maybe what it will be like to have some extrasensory perceptive abilities, with the lenses that we're going to have and the different the neural lace maybe that we're going to get, and all this stuff that we're going to be hooked up to, and this data stream that we're going to really have to optimize our physical bodies with health and nutrition, and we're going to have to use our AI and all that to help us detect deficiencies and supplement those so that our physical apparatus can handle the amount of light that's coming in. Light is information, and we're going to have this coming at us, and it's like a fuse box, and if you interject too much energy into an unconfigured, properly configured fuse box, you're going to blow some fuses. So I think that we're individually going to need to optimize our physical health to be able to handle and have the energy to do the things that we want to do. And I think that we need to do that individually and collectively, because we are connected and we bounce off of one another. And we are also going to need to really, I think, address mental health, because it's just so hard to be human. And I think I'm excited to see that these softer skills, these abilities to just be with people, to talk to people, to hold space for people, to have emotions, to connect, to have fun, to have experiences with each other, is like why we're here. And I think that that's going to be more valued in society as a fundamental need that we're making. And I just love that thought that we're going to have more time to just chill and relax and have fun and go exploring together and see things and be present and be human with each other. So that's something I'm very excited about in the future. And I think that we're going to be a more mobile and fluid society, because we're going to have flying cars. I think that once we have the 5G and we've got some of that worked out, we're going to be able to build the aerial infrastructure, and I think we're going to be able to have more choice-based communities. So if you're into integrated farming, for example, there's going to be communities for that. Or if you're interested in a certain kind of lifestyle, I think that we're going to live more separately, and be able to visit each other's kind of worlds a little bit. And I think that that will also be reflected in 3D and augmented reality. And I think that quantum computing is going to help us come up with all kinds of interesting, durable materials and ideas for how to use it. And so the things that we're going to be able to build. And what I genuinely hope will happen is that our architecture will become just exquisite and unique in design and beautiful, and there's going to be like water features and gardens, and just I would like to see more beauty. And I'd like some robots to go out and clean up all the trash that's like in our national parks and that's everywhere and that's blowing around, and and to sift through all of our garbage and help us clean it up. And I think I'm so excited. I'm freaked out by the Internet of Things. I am. It's a little scary, but I'm also excited because I think that we can live in the most interesting, beautiful environments that clean themselves. That's great. That's amazing, And we're going to have, and this is something else I'd like to talk about, is I think that we need to have the financial infrastructure set up as well through a universal basic income, so that everybody has their just a basic amount to survive and to spend and to do what they want with. And I think that we could cut out a lot of wasteful spending on unhelpful, disjointed, disorganized, just not as functional social programs, and then distribute an amount that is equal to everybody, so that people can't be like, oh, so and so's getting more, and a fair amount to everyone while we make this transition. And people are concerned, I'm afraid that people are going to become lazy. Well, we've got cars, and we used to ride around on horses, and did take a lot of effort to ride around and load things up, and yeah, but it's more convenient, so you get a car, so you do more stuff. So I think that that's just how it's going to be with our technology. Our concept of what work is and what value is going to change, and is going to become easier and more fun. We're not digging in the coal mines anymore. We're doing intellectual jobs and playing on our computer, and I'm talking to you about my favorite technologies, and doing my hair and picking out my makeup and shirt. That's how we're going to be moving in the world. Creative intelligence is going to be very valued, and because the creative mind, and this is just kind of my thought on that, and I'm drawing kind of from Naval. I really like him, that investor. He's talking about how what needs to happen is not that you need to fail so much, but that you need to be able to find some way of rapid prototyping, rapid iterations. And the creative mind is able to do that. It's able to come up with thing after thing after thing. And I think that 3D and augmented reality is going to help us throw a digital layer on things and be like, does this work? Does this not work? Can we move this around? What does it look like if we do it like this? So what we're able to do in real time, and being able to connect with people across the globe to solve these problems and use tools that don't require material, because they're a digital representation of the tool. So you can see how they all fit and how things move. And it's just going to change how we learn and how we process things, and we're going to be able to solve so many problems. And I hope that we turn our attention towards designing solutions, instead of giving into the fear and quibbling about our dividedness in this country, because we all kind of want the same things. We have different ideas maybe about how to get to it. We have different fears, we have different concerns and different personalities and different stories. But ultimately we all want to feel valued. We all want to feel heard. We all want to feel like we have a space that's comfortable. We all want to feel safe. We're designed to seek comfort and safety and survival. And if we turn our attention on solutions and how we can create things, we can create a lot of abundance, because our ability to be prosperous is completely contingent on our ability to be peaceful, and to just get together and let other people have their own political views and but let's get together and let's find some solutions, and let's find a way to transition, because this is going to be hard on some people. A lot of people's jobs are going to go away, quickly, away fast. Like whenever I talk to people about this, they're like, yeah, but that's not going to happen for another 30 years. Oh no, oh no, robots are already here. It's so funny because I was working at briefly in a manufacturing job actually, and in the production line of a robotic arm factory, and I would try to talk to people about the automation is coming, but just people not on their radar so much. And it's like, this is happening because what happens is that there's this deceptive nature of technology. Also learned this from Peter Diamond. Is this it's really quiet for a minute, and while it's being developed, kind of like mushrooms, and then just one day they grow underground, and then one day there's just a patch of them and they're freaking everywhere. Like technology's like that. It's being developed in different places, and then one day just there's like a vehicle and it comes out, and then it's everywhere. And so it's not going to happen in 30 years. It's going to be really quick and right around the corner. And some are even arguing that this whole COVID thing has accelerated this process. So, yeah, like this is happening, and we need to have systems in place because a lot of people are not going to be prepared for this. A lot of manufacturing jobs are going to just go away. Um, and people who stock shelves, some robot's going to come and stock shelves and do it perfectly. And yeah, there needs to be people who are going to be there to fix the machines and do all that. But yeah, all these, and call centers, they just record hours and hours and hours and hours of people talking. Well, AI can sense natural language processing and sort all that out. So pretty soon, these call centers are just going to be selling their data, and you're going to be talking to an AI and not know it. It's going to be so well designed, and because you don't have to worry about this person not showing up. You don't have to worry about running them through a training program, having to incentivize employees, all that stuff. People not showing up, people not liking their call center jobs. Um, so that's going to change, and we're going to be meeting in virtual reality here soon. It's so cool. Virtual reality is so cool. It's kind of scary too. What's going to happen with that, and we need to. I think that people need to have enough resources so that they can be engaged in being there for their kids and being present and involved with family life, because we are people and we do live lives, and family structure and our relationships with one another, and having people around us that we love and feel connected to, and care about us, and having the mental and emotional and financial bandwidth to be present and to be engaged and to be supported in that is so important if we're going to take a responsible stance towards this technology. And so yeah, I just think that we should make everything beautiful, get everybody fed. What am I missing? Oh, I'm so excited about solar flying cars. So excited about that. We're going to have so much mobility, and I think that our experiences, both in 3D and in real life, are going to be very mobile and very rich and vivid with color, and just amazing things to explore and see. And even people who don't have a lot of mobility are going to feel more free, I think, with this technology. I think that especially our seniors and the senior community with COVID, they've had to learn how to be more tech savvy, if they want to talk to their grandkids, if they want to see their grandkids, if they want to talk to their doctor, they've had to learn to um, get online. I live in a place and I've worked in a lot of environments with this community, and there's been some resistance. And now you see them and they've got a smart TV, and they are embracing technology, and that's really good to see. And I think this is going to be really cool with VR travel and things like that for that market and those people, and helping them feel connected. And I think that even with VR and AR, being able to wear like haptic suits or um, things like that can help people feel more connected to their loved ones that they don't have the ability to see because they're across the world or they are on lockdown. So I think it's going to be, there's so many opportunities for so many good things, and these are just some of the reasons that I am so excited about this technology. I would love to get some of your thoughts and ideas. Sorry if I rambled in some places, but I would love it if you visited me at eclecticcoach.com. I'm a course completion coach and an intuitive transformational coach. So if you want to complete any type of online course, I'd love to support you in that and help you finish the course, use it, gain that mastery, that skill set that you've always wanted, and so that you can feel really comfortable and confident in whatever it is that you're trying to do. And also I do intuitive transformational coaching, so I help you do some intuitive skill building. We do exercises that help you tap into your intuitive ability, gather that information, and then apply it to really practical and useful things in your life. I hope that this video gave you some ideas. Be sure to like, share, and subscribe, and I hope to see you soon. Thanks.